Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Forex report for the European pairs, but starting with the US dollar index here on the daily chart. And we're considering wave 5 of C of 4 being in place here now, but we would need to see some evidence of a move to the upside. So if we're just looking at this low here, I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. So I'm just going to go into the 2-minute chart and have a look at this this low here, so we've got a bit of an understanding about it. It does appear that that from this low here, we have a 5-wave structure up through to here. So after an impulse wave, we'd see an A and a B and a C back into the 50-60% mark, which is roughly where it is now. So we would definitely need to see it move up from here. So if you see a stronger US dollar coming into play here, then we can consider this low being in place here, and of course the euro to the mirror opposite as well. So with the euro here, just move a few things around here. So just on the daily chart here to start with, we'll just sort of recap where we are a little bit. Now for the US dollar index, we have when it's basically doing the mirror opposite, and with the US dollar index we've got an ABC correction as a wave 4. So the mirror opposite here would be an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4 here, and then a move basically down into intermediate wave 5 here. But for this wave C and wave 4 to be in place here, then we would need to have 5 waves up here. And yes, I suppose you could look at this as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and down for 4, overlapping 1 here and then 5 up here. It's possible, but it's probably a better fit and more logical to consider this a triangle pattern working across here as such. So not that it makes a great deal of difference, because even if this was wave C of 4 up here, we'd still have 5 waves down for wave 1, back for wave 2, 61.8% mark. So they'd still travel in the same pathway, just slightly different structures. So in this case, it would be 5 waves down instead of 3 waves down, but to the 61.8% mark, and then a 61.8% mark back up here as well, which I haven't got in there, it's just roughly at this point. So it's possible that we can have a top in here. That's what we're sort of considering at the moment on the 4-hour chart here. Just bring this all back into perspective here. So really we're looking at it something a bit more like this here. So from this previous low down here, as I mentioned, it could be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, but you know, I don't want to get into an argument with other Elliott people about that, because that is a little bit dodgy, so to speak. So we'll just leave this as wave C, wave D, and wave E here, and then down. But just to bear in mind, you know, weird stuff does happen, so we'll monitor this situation here. But first of all, we need to work out if we've got a top in play here, and yeah, so going into the 2-hour chart here, we're looking at a possible top in play. And you know, once again, we've got a bit of a sort of odd sort of count here too. Well, I have. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, then A and a B and a C, or even this wave 2 in here. But the trouble is the spike really upsets things here. But I think that, you know, wave 3 is always the most powerfulest. And really, we've got this spike here and we've got this one here. So it's really quite a strong run here. And this would have to be a wave 4. So we could look at this as 1 and 2 and forget about the spike down to here, and 3 and 4 and 5 for the 3rd wave here, the 4th wave here, and then 5 waves up through to here. So we've had a little bit of difficulty with this top here. It's been a bit of a triangle pattern in wave 4 here that's made things a little bit sort of complicated. And even so, we can't really confirm just yet if this top is in play here as such. But I was thinking that if this current low here gets taken out, then you know, we need to be on this side of the market, on the short side here. So we would need to really see if we've got 5 waves down here as such. And well, it's just not that clear either. There's a case for 3 waves being down. If there is 3 waves being down here, then we're going to be moving up and making another new high here. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the 15-minute chart. I'm just going to sort of drill in there, but you know, so that so this current move down here, it can be counted as 3 waves or 5 waves. That's the bottom line. I've had a look at it on a tick chart, and well, on a tick chart, it basically works better as 3 waves, as basically an A and a B and a C in here. But I just think let's just chill out a little bit. Let's just allow the market to sort of unfold. This here is obviously is the 61.8% retracement level from the move down here. So we can look at it as an A and a B and a C wave into this area here. But if this area here becomes the support, if this number here becomes the nice tested support here, then you know that you're going to be going up here further. But if it just gets to here, if it gets into this space here as 3 waves and then starts moving down again, then you'll know where you are at that point. Okay, so you'll need to you can get a better feel and all the rest of it rather than taking this low out here, of course, but you'll need to identify what's going on here, and we'll do that on the London opening. But yeah, so still an unresolved top here. We know that the market's been churning here and waiting as such, but yeah, we just don't have a clear count or setup for this in this particular degree of structure here. So we're still in sort of waiting mode at this stage, but as I mentioned, a move down through here, and you don't even have to sort of take this short trade here as well, because any move down here is going to see a bounce off the 13 here, so and off the old lows here too. So any move down here is going to see a 3-wave price action. If you can identify that as being 3 waves, then you can get a few positions on the short side and look to add. But there will also be a bounce off the 3 here as well as group 1, and that will also be in 3 waves here as well, coming back. And this support here will eventually be tested, maybe 1, 2, 3 times as a to test it that it is the resistance. And once you can see that, then so there's no need to move outside your risk parameters. And first of all, we're trading against the main trend here coming up, so that's very dangerous as well. So we really want to see this locked in here and some evidence of an impulse wave down, and we just don't have that yet. So this market can move up. If this move down was clear in 5 waves, well then we could have a crack at it at the 61.8% retracement level. But on the tick chart, it counts better as 3 waves rather than 5 waves. So a bit of a brick wall there. The euro yen here on the 4-hour chart here, we're looking at this as a corrective pattern here, which is a bounce off the top of group 1 where the 3 is. 3 is always group 1, and also the previous lows here as well. So we're looking for a wave 4 correction. It's maturing. We'll be looking for a little 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here, so there can still be another high here to come into play here. But even when this market moves down into group 1 here, it's not going to be very swift. Markets move very, very quickly with the levels here of 1, 2 and 3 as group 1, and then 5 and 8. Markets tend to move between 5 and 8 very quickly, and 5 and 3 very quickly, but not through 3, 2 and 1, because they're closer together. They attract orders at these particular areas here, and you'll see the market bounce around a lot within that. So not a really good opportunity there as well. The cable just on the daily chart here, we're still looking for wave 4 to be completed here. And this could also, I've got this as a simple A wave to here, A, B and C for the B wave, and the C wave here, and then move down. But it could also turn into a triangle pattern here as well. So it's not very helpful in this sideways correction so far. So yeah, we could get an extra. That's why I've drawn that little bit in there, because an A and a B and a C and a D and then an E wave and then down here as well. So it's also not ready to trend yet as well. And of course, they'll just sort of trend together when these things go. The pound yen. I just need to talk about this a little bit just on the 15-minute chart though, because we're looking at a long position here, and we do have now from this low here an A wave, a B wave, and 5 waves up for the C wave in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So this more looks like, you know, just, we don't need to be Einstein, but we can just see 5 waves here, can't we? So it's likely that this is the first leg down here. So that's where the stop can go. If you want to take 50% profit here, then that's fine too. And that stop can just be a reverse order and look to short at that stage there. But if that 155 becomes the support in any way, well then this trade's going to continue to the upside. So we don't want to jump in too quick. And the reason I got this short trade over here, I mean, we can just swap stop for short without a problem. But the other interesting thing I find about keeping trend lines in play is that it looks a bit corrective there. If this market moves up and comes down here and then moves up here and then breaks down here, what they do is they come back and they check the trend line here, and it's that checking here, and I'll just put that very simply there, but you can also get better fills on this here as well. Once you understand, you know, it's like a market moving from, you know, one side of a price point to another. It's the same with the trend line as well. Yeah, it's got to have it as support and then resistance here, and if you can see that, it's just very helpful, you know, if you can see that. If you can bring the volume into it, well then that's fine. I know that these FX platforms don't have volume. They have like a volume indicator of how many times the price changes within that particular time frame that you have it set it on, but because I can read volume, I can say to you that they give you a reasonable read of the volume here. So on that upswing here, on this bar here, when it retests, you want to see that on lower volume than the previous downtrend here. Okay. Where are we with the rest of, not a lot going on today actually. The US yen here, we've just got a bounce off this little low here. I haven't really sort of updated that, but that's just a corrective rally there. Well, just let me have a check here first. Let me see where we are. We're just looking for one more move down. Okay, that's where we are. Sorry about that. So yeah, look, last time we spoke, which wasn't yesterday or the day before, because I missed this one, apologise about that, but basically we're looking for the wave 4 and wave 5 down here. So with the US dollar index, considering it a low in place as well, it's probably a good idea to have a look at the Swissy as well, and the CAD. But we are seeing a slight move up in resources in Australia anyway for the BHPs of the world and the Rios and the FMGs. So there is some volume coming in, and there's also volume coming in on the banks as well. And of course the US dollar yen here will follow the stock market somewhat. So we can look to this to move up here, but so far here we don't really have 5 waves up. Sorry about all that mess on the side, I've got to put stuff somewhere. So we don't have a nice clear 5 waves up here yet. I can see that this little move here could be counted as corrective, so we're not ready yet, but once we have a little impulse wave up and we have our 3 waves back, then we can look to build into this one here. So okay, well that's it, just a bit of a broad look today, because there's nothing a lot that's you know, really moving or set up to move. All right, cheers.